Hey guys, today we're diving into a topic that many don't want to talk about, but everyone needs to hear. All men pay. Now, how much they pay, that depends on a few key factors. But make no mistake, when it comes to women, every man pays in one way or another. And in this video, we're breaking it all down. There's a brilliant scene in Jack Reacher where Tom Cruise's character, Jack, is approached by a strikingly attractive woman at a bar. She makes it clear she wants to leave with him. But instead of playing along, Jack coolly responds, "I can't afford you." She immediately fires back, offended, saying, "I'm not a hooker." And without missing a beat, Jack replies, "Well then I really can't afford you." It's a moment that lands effortlessly, because like all great jokes, there's a hint of truth behind it. The delivery, the timing, and the underlying social dynamic make the scene both sharp and memorable.
Mind if I share your table? I'm Sandy.
So was I, last week, on a beach in Florida.
What's your name?
Jimmy Reese.
You don't look like a Jimmy.
What do I look like?
I don't know, but not a Jimmy. So you're new in town?
Usually.
It's kind of loud in here. Do you want to maybe go someplace quieter? I have a car.
You're old enough to drive?
I'm old enough to do a lot of things.
I'm on a budget, Sandy.
What?
I can't afford you.
I'm not a hooker.
Oh, then I really can't afford you.
Seriously, I work at the auto parts store.
What I mean is the cheapest woman tends to be the one you pay for.
I am not a hooker.
Well, a hooker get the joke.
What's this?
He called me a whore.
Is that true?
When it comes to women, the more transactional the relationship, the lower the overall cost. In situations like literal prostitution, the exchange is straightforward. Men only pay with money. But in committed relationships, the price isn't just financial. You're investing time, attention, exclusivity, compromise, and resources, all while there's never a guaranteed return when it comes to sexual access. Understanding these dynamics is key to navigating relationships with clarity and purpose. While a date might cost less financially than paying for a prostitute, the real expense goes beyond money. In a relationship, the price isn't just dinner or drinks. It's your time, attention, exclusivity, emotional investment, and compromise. When you add up all these factors, the true cost of seeking sex through a relationship can far outweigh the difference in financial transactions alone. At the end of the day, if you're a man, you will have to pay in some form to access the opportunity for sex, whether through resources, commitment, or direct financial exchange. That's just the reality of how modern dynamics work. Here's the silver lining. The cost of access is inversely proportional to her level of attraction. Simply put, the more she's into you, the less effort and resources you'll need to invest. While it will never be entirely free, a woman who is deeply attracted to you will make it easy and effortless to spend time together. She'll remove obstacles, create opportunities, and naturally pave the way for intimacy. Because when attraction is high, the process becomes seamless. Now, here's the flip side. The men who pay the most are often the ones women are least interested in. Let me say that again. The men who invest the most, financially, emotionally, or with excessive effort, are usually the ones women desire the least. And when you think about it, that makes perfect sense. A high price tag with low reciprocated interest creates an imbalance that makes the entire exchange irrational. For a man who truly wants to be with a woman who wants him back, the equation is simple. The higher the price, the lower the justification for paying it. The more you pay, the less you actually get. And while that might seem unfair, it makes sense. If a woman isn't genuinely interested in a man, if she's not truly attracted to him, then something else has to compensate for that lack of desire. Whether it's financial support, status, or other benefits, She needs a reason to stay beyond attraction alone. And that's the harsh reality. When the emotional and physical pull isn't there, the price for keeping her around only goes up. Women treat men the same way men treat jobs. If a company's salary isn't competitive, all else being equal, it becomes less attractive to potential employees. To compensate for this, companies often offer perks: remote work, unlimited PTO, exclusive training, career exposure, or health benefits, to make up for the lower financial package. Similarly, if a woman isn't deeply drawn to a man on an emotional or physical level, she'll require other incentives to stay interested, whether it's financial security, status, or added benefits that compensate for a lack of attraction. Whatever the case, companies must compensate for a lower salary by offering additional perks, and those benefits come at a real cost to the employer. By the same token, men who aren't as naturally attractive to a specific woman end up paying more, not just financially, but in terms of time, effort, and emotional investment, to secure the same opportunity. In both scenarios, the less appealing the offer, the higher the price to make up for it. For men, the key to making access to women more effortless and less costly is increasing overall attractiveness. The reality is that attraction lowers the price of entry when it comes to dating and relationships. Simply put, the more appealing you are, the less you have to invest to secure the same opportunity. That's why focusing on self-improvement, whether in appearance, status, confidence, or social skills, pays off in the long run. It's an investment, but one that ensures you're operating at an advantage rather than a disadvantage. However, you're going to be paying either way, and if this is true, it makes more sense to pay into self-investment than into any given sexual opportunity. This perspective can be tough for some men to grasp because many believe that all women want relationships. But in reality, that belief is less true than its counterpart, the idea that all men want sex. Now, while that statement isn't entirely accurate, it's mostly true. And here's where things get interesting. Many men genuinely assume that A, a woman wants a relationship with every man she sleeps with. B, she only sleeps with men she's in a relationship with. For some women, this might sound strange, but for a lot of men, it's a deeply ingrained belief. Neither of these beliefs is actually true, yet they play a huge role in modern dating dynamics. Men who aren't sleeping with you often try to push for a relationship, assuming they're giving you what you want in exchange for what they want: sex. On the flip side, men who do sleep with you may suddenly ghost, convinced that if they see you again, you'll want to tie them down forever. These assumptions drive a lot of male behavior in relationships, and understanding them can explain a lot about the patterns you see in dating today. The idea that men just want sex isn't entirely accurate. While it's true that men's standards for casual encounters tend to be lower, that doesn't mean they're indiscriminate. Men still have standards, which means there are plenty of women they're not sexually interested in. It's also important to note that the women men would consider for a relationship are a smaller, more selective group within the larger pool of women they'd be open to sleeping with. Attraction alone isn't enough. When it comes to commitment, other factors play a role. The idea that women just want a relationship? Not exactly true. In reality, women tend to have extremely high standards, especially when it comes to commitment. And if you've spent any time navigating the dating world, you already know this. It's not just the most attractive women setting the bar high. Even women who might be considered a 6 can have higher standards than some 9s. It's kind of like a bakery with overpriced, mediocre pastries. You can't help but wonder, how are they still in business? But somehow demand exists, and the dynamic continues. At the end of the day, the men women consider for a relationship are just a subset of the men they find sexually attractive. Despite what many men believe, women aren't looking to lock down just anyone. Attraction alone isn't enough. Commitment requires more than physical interest. And contrary to popular belief, not every woman is out to push for a relationship. Interest, timing, and personal preferences all play a role in determining whether she sees a man as just fun or as someone worth investing in long term. By default, all things being equal, a woman's desire for sex or a relationship with a man hinges on 2 factors: his value and his attractiveness. Value includes things like net worth, social status, and lifestyle, while attractiveness comes down to physicality, sex appeal, and swagger. If a man is both attractive and high value, women are more likely to desire a relationship with him. But if he's not interested in commitment, they'll often be willing to offer sex instead. Even that comes with hidden costs. In the case of attractiveness, she may be offering sex as an exchange for superior genes, which carries long-term implications. Things like child support, reduced time, and added responsibilities become real considerations. That's why, even if a man is attractive but low value, many women will still be open to a sexual relationship with him, because the perceived genetic benefits outweigh other factors. But the cost of that dynamic isn't always visible at first. On the other hand, if you're a high-value man but lack physical attractiveness, women may still be open to a relationship, but sex will likely be far less frequent. That's when you start seeing the shift. She makes you work for intimacy, and suddenly excuses start piling up. Whether it's being too tired, not in the mood, or too busy, the dynamic changes and access becomes conditional. The reality is, when physical desire isn't naturally present, affection becomes a negotiation rather than an organic exchange. And of course, men who are neither high value nor attractive get nothing. Makes sense. The key takeaway? It is possible for a man to secure sexual opportunities without paying all the direct and indirect costs that come with a relationship. However, there's always a price to pay, whether in effort, presence, or perception. And at the core of it all, attractiveness remains non-negotiable. Without it, access becomes far more difficult. Modern dating dynamics have shifted, and hypergamy plays a significant role in how relationships form today. Social media has only amplified this, making it harder for many men to stand out. The reality? Most men don't get to reproduce, or even have sex. If a woman doesn't see value in a man, she's simply not interested in a sexual relationship. And with financial independence being the norm for most women today, the incentive to be in a relationship, or even engage in casual sex, diminishes unless there's something in it for her. At the end of the day, every man pays, one way or another. Whether it's through time, effort, resources, or attraction, there's always a cost associated with securing opportunities with women. The difference is in how much you pay and what you're willing to invest. If you understand the dynamics at play, you put yourself in a position of choice, not obligation. You can shape your own path, refine your value, and decide what's worth your time. So take control, make smart decisions, and most importantly, know your worth. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more insights, because this conversation is far from over.